Oh, what it do, chat? Chat, we in the building, man. How y'all doing? Y'all see what time it is, man? You see what the screen on now. We got 1 week. We got 1 week to the college football. We got 1 week.
We finally have full gameplay of College Football 25.
Let's talk about it.
Just dropped this video where Bordeaux, a YouTuber, played against Michigan running back Donovan Edwards. Now, I'm going to kind of commentate some of this, give my thoughts on the gameplay, and then certain parts of the video, I'm going to cut to the devs speaking on certain gameplay features. They explain it pretty well, and I think it's just better to do it that way. We're going to have a ton of content coming all week, and I'm going to have exclusive content for you guys starting this weekend. So if you don't want to miss that, make sure to subscribe, turn the bell icon on so you don't miss any of those videos when they go live. Trying to get to 600K subs before the start of this game, and if everybody watching just subscribe, we can hit that number in a few days. And you're seeing right out of the gate the new pass meter that's in the game.
Wait, chat, they got a pass meter now. They got a pass meter now, chat.
And you're seeing right out of the gate the new pass meter
Something
that's in
similar
the game. You
to
can
Madden.
obviously turn this off and use classic passing, but this pass meter
you can turn it off. Good trajectory
and allows you to layer the ball.
Bet.
Let's hear what the devs had to say about it.
So you see that's our brand new revamp passing right there. That's the blue. It's a safer throw that he made. There's blue, yellow, red. Obviously, the more that you're in the red,
okay,
the
so
more
blue is
off-target
safe.
a throw
Yellow is
be.
shaky and red is
Good
out
throw
of
there for
control.
Donovan.
Okay,
we worked off of like a bullseye system, right? And Bill Walsh said it best about every pass being 6 inch off the numbers.
Ooh.
So we wanted to really work
Look at the
off
separation
of that and get rid of
this game
the
looks
throws
good,
that
man.
might have been 20 plus yards over ahead or anything random.
This
now
is going to be exciting.
You're throwing it now off target. Still catchable, right? But drop chances increase and things of that nature.
Getting back to the game here, we've got Donovan Edwards running the ball.
Ooh.
And I'm not going to lie, the run game's...
We got to rewind that, chat.
Increase and things of that nature.
We got to rewind that.
Game here,
Donovan Edwards ain't playing bully. Get off me.
Lie, the run
he got his stick,
pretty
though.
good in this game here. The left stick, when I played, was very responsive. It's pretty easy to juke and spin the more you get used to it. You can see here as Donovan Edwards pulls off a sick double juke. We really haven't had here as Donovan left stick when I played was very responsive. It's pretty easy to juke and spin the more you get used to it. And you can see here as Donovan Edwards pulls off a sick double juke. We really haven't had movement like that in Madden in quite some time. I'm glad college football kind of went back to the more responsive ball carrier, quick left stick, faster gameplay, so you can pull off plays like that.
All that clunky stuff, I ain't with
the stick work that
might have to make a running back,
just showed on that play. That's part of what the gameplay is all about this year. That extra
Comment
responsiveness,
what position you gonna make,
with the ball carrier.
What you gonna make?
That's a huge
quarterback, running back,
huge part of the college football experience this year.
So here as we come to the line and Ewers is at the line. You're looking at the player reticle here, right? The right is your fatigue, stamina, and then on the left is your wear and tear. And wear and tear is basically...
Oh, man, wear and tear, dog. Imagine getting hit, and now your shoulders hurt, and now your starting quarterback cannot throw in the national championship game.
5 different pips. That's just showing you the body part that is hurt the most.
Sure.
That's it. So it could be an ankle, it could be an elbow, and then
That
it will fluctuate in
hurt.
colors. It will go straight from green, light green, yellow, orange, and red.
Here we're getting a quick look at the option.
Right
Bordeaux's going to pitch it even while getting hit, and you can see the broken tackle. This is a game where you're going to definitely see a decent amount of broken tackles. I think they want it to be a big play type of game.
Yeah, we need big plays. That's what college football is all about. It just makes it better.
Quick pitches are basically going to be
that fake pitch was
to get you out of a
nasty.
tight spot. The animation's going to be quick, but the ball might hang. It might not hit the pitch back perfectly in
fake
stride.
pitch
But then
was
on your
nasty,
strong pitches, which you're going to get by holding the pitch button, the animation might take a little bit longer, but it's going to hit the guy in stride. The ball speed's going to be quicker. And then, of course, fake pitching, that's just to rub it in your opponent's face.
It's just going to be rude when you do that.
Exactly. That's just going to be to taunt, basically.
We got Bordeaux down the field here, surveying the field, going to try to layer the pass in there, but he's going to get picked off. And something I noticed during this gameplay is the defense seems pretty responsive in zone coverage. They seem to really make a play on the ball when they're looking at it, and you can see right here, right back the other way, the Texas defense making a play on it as well.
Bordeaux, was that a covered shell?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I had cover 3 out there, and I switched it to cover 2.
Okay.
That is a major change. Adding in these coverage shells, taking the old version of what is base align, and now instead giving you the ability to show different defenses.
Now we've got Bordeaux with
so
the
we don't even
ball
have to
here,
do base align anymore. We don't have to do all
angle
that.
route underneath. This route has been really good for years.
Sound like
in
they're making
both
it
old
easier
college games and current
for the
Madden
casual
games.
user.
Probably going to be good in this game as well. You can see him using one of the celebrations. They're going to touch on that a little bit later in the video. There's a lot of different celebrations you can use, and they're also kind of at this point in the video.
So far, it's looking good, chat, man. Comment what you think, bro. Like, we really about to have college football back. I might shed a tear.
Talking about the coverage shell, so let's hear what they got to say.
You can show up to 5 or 6 different alignments in pre-play on defense. So instead of having base align, now you have even more control than you did before by being able to say, for example, okay, I'm going to call cover 3, but I'm going to show a cover 0 blitz look to make you think I'm blitzing, but really it's just like a drop coverage. And this is something like core fans have just,
it seems like they're
for years. So I'm so glad we were able
button
to deliver
pressing.
it.
Now we're back with Michigan here. You can see Donovan Edwards getting crazy again, breaking tackles, making people miss. The good running backs in this game, especially right there, you take a bad angle
whatever I
want to
show,
you're going to give up big plays.
Play.
This is definitely the type of game where big plays are going to happen a lot. It really feels like it's designed that way, in my opinion. The left stick is responsive. The game plays fast. The jukes and spins seem to work pretty well. And the broken tackles happen, especially with the good backs. So you're going to definitely give up. You're going to give up some big plays, but that's what college football is about.
Donovan doesn't know about all the different new celebrations that are in the game. There's over 20 new touchdown celebrations that you can choose.
So we're not looking at just 4 for each direction. You have a lot.
You can hit the Heisman pose. You can do the salute. There's a lot there. You can rock the baby. Everything is in there.
Oh man, hold
back on offense
on.
with Texas, and he's going to layer this pass in. Probably one of the best passes they showcased in this.
You gotta go back, chat. Oh man, they have more, like several celebrations. Vibes, shoot the arrow, jacked, ice in my veins, tiger swag, I can't hear you, the king, strike a pose, who cares, cross up, it's time, head swag, wave goodbye, little baby. Oh man, on his head. Oh man, this is going.
Looking at just 4 for each direction. You have a lot.
You can hit the Heisman.
Wild. I hate that they showing this on Xbox, but whatever.
There's a lot
there. Oh no, it's on. It better be on PlayStation.
Now we've got Bordeaux back on offense with Texas, and he's going to layer this pass in. Probably one of the best passes they showcased in this gameplay. Not something you can really do as well in Madden, or at least you haven't been able to. Ooh. The way that they revamped the passing with this game to allow you to really layer the ball in there definitely shows in some of the clips here.
Oh,
now
man.
we're back with Michigan with the ball. Not sure what happened. And Donovan Edwards again going.
But this would be happening.
Nuts.
This is
One
college
thing this video
football.
is showcasing is that the run seems to be pretty powerful. But again, once people get their hands on the game, somebody might find good run defense. But right now, this is feeling like a game where running backs are going to be really powerful.
Okay, so that's what yellow looks like. You still can complete the ball as yellow. I think he said you can complete the ball as red, but there's more chance of a drop.
I mean, you can see anytime Donovan Edwards touches the ball in his gameplay, he's making crazy plays. Now they're back with Texas with the ball here, trying to go over the top, and we're going to get a PI there, which I know some people like to see that. We don't see penalties called often enough in Madden, so looks like we might have that here. And now he's going down the field. You can see spin move. Spin move definitely looks pretty powerful, I ain't gonna lie. And the jukes look powerful as well. Now, I don't know if Donovan Edwards has a juking ability, because his jukes definitely look faster than other people's, so that might be an ability, but just something to note that his jukes look pretty fast. Now, you'll also notice here that Bordeaux is using the no huddle. You can see they run back to the line in this game. They don't automatically line up. And he's using the turbo no huddle, which allows you to line up quicker and snap the ball faster. And that is something new to this game.
So you can see on the
because I think in the last college football they just came straight. They was already preset at the line.
Quickly.
So
the
they're
defense was
actually
just
running
a hair
up like
late getting off the ball.
So we got Bordeaux marching down the field here. He's going to hand it off, and missed tackle by Donovan Edwards leads to a touchdown.
It's going to be a lot of missed tackles on this game. It's going to be this game is going to be very high scoring
as well. Just getting an actual tackle animation
very much high scoring.
You got to really be on time and line it up. Now we're seeing a little bit of the post game here, the celebrations post game. They got a player of the game screen, which looks pretty clean. So you'll see that at the end of every game. And if it's a big game or a rivalry game, obviously you'll have trophies and other presentation to go along with it. And now here they're just kind of showing some replays. They're really touching on the passing meter, how if you have a red meter, the ball is going to be a little inaccurate, and you can see it's going to be low, it's going to be behind receivers a lot, and there's animations in the game for them to still be able to spin and catch these low behind the back passes, but that's going to happen if you mistime the meter.
Is this
that was a big play right there.
And I like the breakaway speed, though. The breakaway speed.
Yeah, the
is
breakaway
wild.
speed is
There was
crazy.
a big emphasis, too, on the different archetypes and the run cycles that we captured this year, so it really makes the game look fresh.
And here they're showing some replays of that good throw that I just talked about earlier where they perfectly layered the
put it
ball
on the numbers.
right over the defender. Like I said,
You put it on
for
the
years in
numbers,
Madden,
Chad.
if you've played, you know that this is a tough throw to make. The DBs usually get their hands on this. This is almost a throw that's considered not catchable in Madden most of the time, but in this game with this passing system, you're really able to get some good trajectory on the ball. Before we continue with the rest of this breakdown, I want to shout out today's video sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. If you like sports and you like winning money, then you've got to be on Underdog Fantasy playing their pick'em
said
game.
go check
Basically,
out
all you have to do
Underdog.
is pick higher
If you
or
ain't checked
lower
out
on a wide
Underdog
variety
yet,
of player
he said go
stats,
check
and
it
if
out.
they hit, you can win some big money. But the best part about Underdog Fantasy is they'll give you free money to play with at start, and they also give you a free play right out of the gate. So for example, if you sign up during WNBA season, they'll give you a player like Angel Reese or Caitlin Clark to get a single point. Or if it's a baseball day, they'll give you a guy like Fernando Tatis to get a single plate
They
appearance.
basically
Basically
trying
a
to
free
give
play
you
that's going to
free
hit no
money in
matter
the
what.
beginning
And if you use my code
before
RAY
they
at
take your
sign up,
money. See what I'm
RAY,
saying?
they're going to also give you up to
a scam,
$250
Chad.
in bonus cash to play with, and you just can't beat that.
Put his code in, though, Chad.
Penn State.
The attention
Man,
to
the
detail from our
presentation
presentation
was-
team
oh
was
my
second to
gosh,
none. You
this
could
is
see
gonna
it.
be crazy.
This
Look
Penn
at this.
State
This
is out of control.
is unbelievable. The lighting in the tunnel,
Yeah.
to the pom-poms in the crowd.
Donovan, is this pretty accurate?
Very accurate.
Yeah, very accurate. This is
Very
crazy.
accurate.
This is damn near
Yeah,
real
they got
life.
the We Are
You
Penn
can hear the
State.
We Are Penn
Oh,
State
yeah,
chant.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
That's very accurate. This is awesome.
With their fight song.
Goodness.
The Penn State intro for this game is absolutely nuts. I'm going to show more of that when I drop videos soon.
is
But
a
the presentation for some of these teams, especially some of the big games, are pretty crazy. Here they're showing some of the abilities. They're showing the pocket disruptor. I will say Michigan's D-line is absolutely
Interesting on the
overpowered in this game. The
abilities.
defense as a whole is
It's gonna
pretty
be
overpowered.
interesting
They
about
get
how
off the
many
line quick,
abilities
and
really work
you can
on
see a guy like Mason here with the pocket disruptor ability, he's going to shed blocks really quickly. And here on the
Ones
next
that really
play, you're going to
actually make
see
a
a
difference.
pick six.
Ooh.
Like I said, defense is pretty responsive in this game. It's hard to tackle. It's hard to stop big plays, but at least when defenders are staring right at the ball, they're making a play on it and getting to it, which is
Chad,
nice to see.
come on now, Chad. Did you just see that? That open field work
You're
right
going to
there,
see
Chad?
a pick six. Like I said, defense is pretty responsive in this game. It's hard to tackle. It's hard to stop big plays, but at
Look
least
at
when
this,
defenders
Chad.
are staring
Watch this
right
juke.
at the ball, they're making
Man, come on. This is crazy work, boy.
to
This is
stop big
crazy
plays, but
work
at least
right
when
here.
defenders are staring
This is
right
what
at
Shady
the
McCoy
ball,
is talking about,
they're
crazy
making
work
a play
right
on it and getting to it, which is nice to see.
This is called giving Donovan a taste of his own medicine.
Hey, I like
Yeah,
the
like
Lions
that
boys
that
on the
play
first
right
down,
there
boys.
literally could be like
Yeah,
the play of the
They
game.
do that every time.
I like that little attention to detail there. They play the certain sounds when teams get first downs or turnovers
Oh,
or
man.
on third down. All that stuff's in the game. And again, you're seeing
Yeah, you gotta
hard
have
game
to,
tackle.
like,
you
you
can't
have
just
to-
kind of dive. You
tackling
can't
is
just
gonna be a
go
skill.
for hit sticks every play. You're
Tackling
gonna pay
is
for that in
definitely
this
gonna
game,
be a skill
especially
on this
with the
game.
game speed. Here you're seeing a player comparison screen, which is also a nice little touch of presentation. But yeah, you can't just try to tackle all willy-nilly in this game. Like, you actually have to try to line up and make secure tackles. You don't want to go for a ton of hit sticks. You don't want to prematurely dive or just run at bad angles. With the speed of this game and the broken tackles and some of the elite players,
Ooh,
it's just hard to
Stadium
tackle.
Plus
Honestly, I
with
think
the-
it's a little
with the
too hard to
rankings?
tackle it
This-
if I
oh my
had
gosh,
to
this is
really,
just
get
heaven
my
on earth
opinion
right
on
here.
it. But you can tackle. You just have to really know what you're doing, and it's
Yeah,
going to kind of
tackling is
create a
gonna
skill gap
definitely
for
be
this
a
game.
skill.
As you see, Donovan Edwards with a huge
Tackling
touchdown
definitely
there,
gonna be a
showing
skill,
off
Chad.
one of these celebrations that's in the game as well. And again, here you're seeing the defense when they see the ball, they react to it. And
Yeah.
again, there's going to be ways to abuse this. I'm pretty sure there's always going to be ways to abuse a defense in a football game, but I'm just liking the responsiveness I'm seeing from
Yeah, I
players.
am.
that
I'm
are
liking
looking
the
at ball.
responsiveness. You
They're
can
not
actually pick
continuing
something
to
off.
just drift away. They're making a play
But
on
I
the
mean,
ball,
we gotta see
which is
when
very,
in
very
game. This is
important
all
for
highlights.
getting stops in
We
a
get in the
like
game,
this.
niggas start
Bordeaux
dropping
were to
shit.
bring
It's
up
gonna be
Coach
irritating.
Vision right here with left trigger. He'd be able to view the composure of his players in pre-play, so you can see the composure of the team. It's not great right now.
So you can view your composure during the game, which is good to see. What players are hot, which ones are not. And this is unfortunate. But again, that's the Michigan defensive line. They get free quick, especially if you're having that composure on your side. You have that momentum.
See, the thing
This is
about college
definitely annoying
football
when it
is
happens to
sometimes
you, a
it's so
D-line
much of
pick.
a-
I don't love it, but
skill
I mean,
gap.
it's gonna happen sometimes.
Yeah.
So
If
there,
you
there
play
you
the
have
right
it. Now,
school, you
again,
could
you see
get
another
destroyed.
bad throw here. You see the throw was a little
Oh,
low.
man,
He had
that
to
was a
lean
bad
down a little
throw,
bit
but
to
he
catch
still
it.
caught it.
Little touch right there, which I really like. Especially he was under
still
pressure as well.
caught it.
So
He still
not
caught
every
it.
throw
So
should
that's-
be accurate.
that's good
It
to
can
see.
be
You don't
annoying
have
at
to
times,
get
but I like
blue
that they
every
have the
time.
animations in the game for those inaccurate throws.
You don't
And again,
have to
you're
get blue
seeing
and yellow. You can get
just
a
how
red
powerful the ball carrier
and
is.
still
That was
be able
some
to-
bad tackle attempts
Man, oh my
there
God.
by Donovan as
The
well. So that's a
juke
bad
work,
mix.
the
If you're
stick
taking
work
bad
on here
angles,
is-
you're making bad attempts
Oh,
at
another
tackle,
red. He
and
caught
you've got
it.
a good running back using some ball carrier
might be
moves
hurt.
or
He look
left
like he
stick.
might be hurt.
It's going to be hard there. Again, you're seeing more bad passes. You can't just spam the catch button all the way down. You can't just hold it all the way down. You want to try to time it and get it blue, maybe
It's
yellow.
all about timing.
If you go red, you're going to see lower, behind the back passes. But again, you can still catch them if you're open. So just keep that in mind.
And a great showcase of two of
Man,
the abilities
crazy.
that Donovan has in college
His
football 25.
breakaway
You can
speed
see it
is
with
just
takeoff
wild.
right there. When that play started, he got just that extra quick step off of the route.
So there they were just showing one of the abilities. It definitely seems like Donovan Edwards is a little OP, I'm not going to lie. And here we're seeing more good defense here. I don't know what he was doing there. That's three guys right there. But I like seeing that the bad reads are being punished. And Madden, that's been a complaint I've had for a long
Right,
time.
because
It doesn't
on
feel
Madden,
like
he would have
bad
just
reads
it
are
would just been
punished
an
enough.
incomplete pass. You've been
Most of the
screaming
bad
at the.
throws I've seen in
You've
this
been
video
screaming.
where it's been a tight coverage. The good defenders have made plays on the ball there, and this is a good user play.
So we gotta
just in
see if
general,
this
but it's
really
good to
gonna
see
happen
that
when the
picks
game
are
comes
actually
out.
happening. They're being rewarded for playing good defense. Now here they're showing the new kick meter, which is definitely going to make kicks
They
tough.
gassing
I've
us,
missed a lot
Chad.
of
They
kicks with
gassing
this
us.
kick meter already. You got to line up the accuracy in the middle. And
Oh,
you don't
this
wanna
is
throw
real
the ball
life.
all the way. You
Them
don't want to
niggas be missing
overkick
in
because that can
college.
also make it inaccurate. And this is even especially tougher when you're on the road with home field advantage going against
Ooh,
you. It's going to be
ooh,
definitely a learning curve here.
This is.
I've
Hey,
heard
this
rumors
game
that
gonna
this
be
pump fake
online.
can
It's
actually,
gonna
you're
be
actually going to see
great. It's gonna be
defenders
some
move if you use
people
the pump
breaking
fake.
their controllers on
Absolutely,
this
yeah.
game.
Now you can pull down a corner to throw
Imagine
behind him. Right?
coming all the way
in
back
that
from
4-7
21 and then
look. There's a
your-
lot of different things
your
we
kicker
really
misses
wanted
the
to start
field
making
goal.
it play
Ooh.
instead of just being more or less of an animation.
So I love that pump faking actually matters now. Like you can get a guy off his spot by pump faking, because in Madden for a while that just hasn't been the case. And here you're seeing the passing system at work again. A nice layered throw over the defender there.
Oh, man, you get
and
some
almost a
open space
touchdown
on
for
this
Donovan
game, it's
Edwards,
gonna be
who's just
trouble.
running up the score at this
You
point.
get
can
any
see
type
even
of
on the
open
run,
space.
he timed it good. He got it in the blue, and he got a nice little loft over the defense there. And you could see, it wasn't right on target because of how the receiver was running, but again, he adjusts, makes the play. And here we're seeing a little bit of the option game. Another broken tackle. Like I said, man, there's going to be a lot of
We got
broken
niggas
tackles
in the
this
back
game. They're
laughing,
also
chat.
showing off the wear and tear here, which is important. You can pull this up on your coach cam, and it'll kind of show you where they're currently at, and it'll show you what body part is kind of injured the most. So you can see ribs or left
Ooh.
arms here. So just stuff that you can monitor
Yeah, the
during
attention
the
to
game.
detail
They're
on
also
this
showing a
game is
little bit of the
crazy.
snow here, and they really just showed this to emphasize that throwing a wet football is going to be harder. You're going to have more inaccurate passes. So in the rain, in the snow, it's going to affect catches and throwing, which is pretty cool. We haven't really seen that again in Madden in a while, so it's good that
Man,
they kept that.
this is
attention to
already
detail
looking
here.
like-
going back to
looking
offense
better
here
than the
with
last
Penn State.
7
Nice
Maddens
little
that done
motion
came
wheel
out.
route again, bad pass, spin catch. Like I said, as long as you're open, you still can catch the ball. But
Yeah,
if
this
there
is
are
already
tight
looking
window
better than the
throws,
last,
these
like,
bad
7, 8
passes are
Maddens
definitely going
that
to cause
came out,
interceptions.
man.
So learning the pass meter is going to be key.
So now you see, right? Now we got wear and tear here in yellow. So now the impacts are starting to grow.
You could tell the way the ball was floating right there on
Yeah.
that pass. The wear and tear starting to occur.
It wasn't a crisp throw. Like, so if I need to get rid of that wear and tear, what can I do in game? Is it subbing someone out? Is it using timeouts? What do I do?
So they heal in multiple different stages. They heal per play, per quarter. Halftime is probably your biggest bump,
one,
and
okay.
then if you're in Dynasty or Road to Glory, week to week.
So there's a little example
Okay,
of how
so
wear and
after
tear works. I think it's going to be a
halftime,
bigger
they-
deal for
they-
Dynasty
they
than
come
it is
back
just game
stronger.
to game, like regular
Per
head-to-head
quarter.
play. But interesting to know how that works. Here we have a
I
crazy
guess it
aggressive
just
catch, and
depend
I
on
like
the
to
injury.
see this because again, referring to Madden, sometimes the aggressive catches you can't get them as much. But here you can see a big one, and you can see that it's an independent animation. It's not a two-man.
Ooh, Chad. Come on, Chad. Look how he just snagged on this young man.
And both guys
I'm
went up
telling you, it's gonna
independently.
be some
And that
people
was a crazy
breaking
catch
controllers.
animation, one that I haven't seen before.
Oh my
And
gosh.
here,
Oh
just
my.
another example of
Chad,
some bad
come-
tackle
Oh my gosh, bro. Chad.
catch
What
animation,
is
one that
this?
I haven't seen before. And
Oh,
here, just
Chad.
another example of some bad tackling. You got to be
Yeah, you got
really
the tackling
careful
is gonna
with
be
how
a
you
skill.
attempt to tackle,
You
or
will
you're
get
gonna look
played on
stupid
this
like
game.
that
You
in
will
this
get
game,
clowned.
and you're gonna give up a lot of big plays. Let me know what your favorite part about the gameplay was below.
love the
And
video.
make sure to check out this video right here on the screen if you want to know every single detail about Dynasty mode for College Football 25.
All right, let's watch it. Let's watch it.
I have no idea how I was able to pull this off, but I went back to EA a few weeks ago, and this time it was to play cover athlete Donovan
No,
Edwards.
we're not watching.
We
it. We're not
finally
watching
have
it. I'm
full
sorry, Chad.
gameplay of
We're not watching that, Chad. Let's go watch this one. Because I don't think I
Pour up
ever
your
watched the whole
deficiencies.
thing.
The Dynasty Deep Dive for EA Sports College Football 25 is finally here. They just dropped a trailer and they dropped a massive blog on the website. Now in this video, I have condensed the blog down a decent bit so that this video doesn't go over an hour long, because yes, the blog is literally that long. It's 17,000 words, over 80 pages. It's a lot to read through, so I've condensed it down. You're going to see some trailer clips, you're going to see a lot of screenshots, and I'm going to go over all the important details you need to know about Dynasty. And if you don't want to miss out on the other upcoming videos on this channel for College Football 25, like the gameplay we're going to be getting soon and the Road to Glory deep dive, make sure to subscribe and turn the bell icon on so you don't miss any of those uploads. Trying to get to 600k subs before the release of this game, and if everybody watching is subscribed, we can hit that number in a few days. Man. So there's 3 big pillars to Dynasty mode for College Football 25. Build your coach, build your program, and deliver the world of college football. So let's start with building your coach. EA met with college coaches and experts to break down real-life coaches, and they said this. What we found was that both current and former coaches broadly fit into 3 main categories. Some are incredible recruiters, while others are motivators who maximize the potential of their players, and lastly, tacticians out-scheme their opponents with on-field X's and O's. There were also a number of coaches who were more of a hybrid between 2 categories, but 2 things were loud and clear. No coach was great at everything, and there is no single path to being a great coach. All of our research and discussions led us to build a coach experience centered around 3 goals. No coach can be great at everything. There's a rock, paper, scissors.
So we got motivator, recruiter, technician. Motivator, get your players to play their best by boosting their ratings and composure. Nobody has it better than us. Recruiter, Jimmys and Joes, not X's and O's. You scout faster and recruit better than any other type. I ain't gonna lie. Being a recruit, like if you know how to play the game, you be a recruiter, you get the best recruits. That's pretty much all you need. Technician, boost your player ratings on game day. Scheme up the big plays and let the visor fly. I'm saying, I just really think that recruiter is the best one. Like, you getting the best players, you know how to play the game, now you're winning.
Relationship between coach types with no dominant progression path, and coordinators and how you build your staff matter. So let's start with coach progression. Progressing your coach starts with playing games. As you play, you will complete coach goals that award XP. Once you earn enough XP, you will level up your coach to a maximum level of 50.
All right, hold on. You got archetype, master at getting most of their players within a scheme. Program builder, winning together. So these are just the different archetypes. The impact of coach abilities increase if owned by more than one coach.
50 and be awarded coach points. Coach points can be spent to upgrade your coach's abilities. More on that later. There are 4 coach XP goal categories that can be single.
Recruiting. Determined by your success on the recruiting trail. Recruiting goals can be specific to a single prospect. For example, sign a 5-star prospect or a full season, like sign the best recruiting class in the country. Pro draft goals based on which round your player is drafted in. For example, player drafted in first round. Let's see what he got to say.
Game, weekly, season, or career goals. You've got the draft, you've got game, you've got recruiting, and you've got stats. I will leave this up on the screen so you can read what each thing does.
Okay, so he ain't gonna read it. Stats, weekly goals like ranked in the top 10. Season stat goals, for example, 4,000 team passing yards and ranked top 5 in offensive yards, and career goals like win 5 national championships. Game, include game goals that range from a single play result like interception and rushing touchdown to a full game result. For example, beat your rival, beat a top 25 team, win a national championship game.
But for sake of making this video not so long, we're going to keep it moving. You'll be able to check your completed goals as well as your progression towards certain goals. If you complete a goal in game, there will be an on-screen notification. There's also 5 progression speed settings, so you can modify how fast coaches progress in your dynasty. Coach archetypes. The archetype system is similar to your traditional RPG classes, where all of your party members have a specific class or archetype and role. To be successful, everyone must work together. It says here, our system is no different. All coaches will start with the base class or coach archetype, which can be thought of as a special ability in a traditional RPG. Just like our real life coaches, the base archetypes fall into 3 categories: recruiting, motivation, and scheme. From your base archetype, you can progress in multiple ways. You can become an expert in a single category like recruiting, where you become an elite recruiter and excel on the recruiting trail. Alternatively, you can become a hybrid coach who is strong in multiple areas.
So this particular coach had 5 players drafted. That's pretty good. That's pretty good right there. Additional XP for winning bowl games or national titles. All right.
For example, a talent developer who is great at both talent acquisition, which is recruiting, and player development, which is motivation. The ultimate goal is to become a program builder or CEO atop the world of college football. Achieving an elite archetype like program builder or CEO is a combination of on-field success and ability progression. There is no single formula to reach these statuses. You will be able to mix and match different ability combinations and progression paths, leading to strong customization. In today, there are 11 different archetypes, each with their own focuses and perks. Together, they form a rock, paper, and scissors relationship where there is no dominant archetype. While there is no doubt that talent acquisition is the most important thing in college football, focusing solely on recruiting can leave you vulnerable in other areas. With that being said, remember that no coach can be great at everything. So how do you upgrade your archetypes and what does it do? Each archetype requires specific prerequisites and objectives to be met before they can be purchased. For instance, to become an elite recruiter, you need to invest 50 coach points in the recruiter archetype and sign 2 top 5 recruiting classes. Once these criteria are fulfilled, you can unlock the archetype using coach points. When creating your coach, you choose your starting archetype, with the other 2 becoming available for purchase without additional requirements.
Okay, I just gotta make sure.
And just so we're clear, when they say purchase, they mean with coach points. This isn't a microtransaction thing. It just means with the different points you earn from completing goals inside of your dynasty. Unlocking an archetype provides access to new abilities and enhances your opportunities in the coaching carousel. Each archetype offers a unique perk when active. For example, the tactician archetype grants the winner perk, which awards additional coach XP for every game won. Your active archetype is automatically determined. If you own the program builder or CEO archetypes, they remain active regardless of your spending in other archetypes. Track your progress in the coach ability screen, where you can view unlock requirements, perks, and your advancement in each archetype. As you allocate coach points across archetypes, the spider graph in the center of the screen reflects your coach's evolving profile. How do the abilities work? Once you own an archetype, you can purchase the abilities within it. The game is introducing more than 50 coach abilities. Each ability can have up to 4 tiers, and every tier has a purchase cost associated with it. Every archetype, with the exception of Scheme Guru, Program Builder, and CEO, has their abilities broken down by position group. This increases the level of depth and specialization each coach has.
All you gotta do is earn coins. You don't gotta pay out your pocket.
Across the board. Now, coaches will specialize in specific position groups, making your staff composition that much more important. Are you a quarterback whisperer? Are you great in the trenches and committed to the no-fly zone? How does your staff
I'm a quarterback whisperer.
There are also coach abilities with core gameplay effects. For example, the Scheme Guru archetype focuses on your gameplay style. If you are a coach who likes to play fast, you can upgrade fast tempo offense, providing you with the following boost: battery pack at tier 1, caught napping at tier 2, on their heels at tier 3, and tipped your hand at tier 4. And you can see the explanations for this on the screen. You can also make your team a well-oiled machine who doesn't work against themselves and is unfazed by rowdy home field crowds. And here are some more examples of what that would look like at different tiers. Of course, balance is critically important here, so there are defensive counters to all offensive playstyle abilities. The program crowds, and here's...
All right, we got hater blockers, slight reduction in crowd noise impact on the road. Teflon, significant reduction of crowd noise impact on the road. Polish, offensive players will commit slightly fewer penalties. Clean sheet offense, offensive players will commit significantly fewer penalties. Okay, so this is definitely for the road.
There's some more examples of what that would look like at different tiers. Of course, balance is critically important here, so there are defensive counters to all offensive playstyle abilities. The program builder and CEO archetypes are different in that they are only available to head coaches. The abilities within them are diverse and range from roster management and program culture to home field advantage and recruiting pipeline boosts. What about coordinators? Both coordinators and head coaches have the same set of abilities and archetypes available to them, leading to a natural progression from coordinator to head coach and increased importance on staff management, where your coordinators either complement your strengths or shore up your deficiencies. All of the abilities your coaching staff own stack, increasing the effective and ability. Abilities owned by the head coach have the greatest impact. The impact of coordinator-owned abilities depends on whether or not the ability is related to their side of the ball. Climbing the coaching ladder. Your journey starts when you sign your first coach contract. When creating your dynasty, you will have the option to select whether you want to be a head coach, offensive, or defensive coordinator. Coordinators have performance expectations just like a head coach. All roles will have full control of recruiting and be able to play both sides of the ball during gameplay. Every time you start a new coaching job, you'll be asked to sign a contract with that school. The contract will have a set contract length and performance expectations. Failure to meet those expectations will result in bad things happening. School expectations are determined by the school's current team prestige and program standing. The better the school, the higher the expectations. These are the 4 types of contract expectations: win X amount of games, win a conference championship, make the college football playoff, or win a national championship. Your job security will fluctuate throughout the season based on the results of your games and whether or not you are trending towards meeting your contract expectations. If your job security gets too low, you will end up on the hot seat.
Okay, so coaches go to the NFL here.
You'll be fired and looking for a new job in the coaching carousel. All coaches have a coach prestige letter grade that ranges from A+ to F. Coach prestige is reflective of your ability to meet contract expectations adjusted for the school and role that you have. For example, meeting expectations and winning 5 games at a small school will have significantly smaller impact than winning the SEC championship at a traditional powerhouse school. So let's talk about the coaching carousel.
Memphis,
says in
that's
college
one of my
football
teams
25,
right there. I'm
we set out
using.
to recreate the chaos that is the college football coaching carousel, along with the domino effects it brings. Now, instead of happening over a single week, the coaching carousel takes place over the course of 5 weeks from conference championship week to the end of bowl season, just like the real world. The coaching carousel starts during the conference championship weeks, just like the real world brings. Now, instead of happening over a single week, the coaching carousel takes place over the course of 5 weeks from conference championship week to the end of bowl season, just like the real world. The coaching carousel starts during the conference championship week. Schools decide to fire, extend, or let coaches' contracts expire. Coaches receive notifications if they're affected. Head coaches can also fire their coordinators. During bowl season, initial job offers are sent out. Coaches will be notified with a view job offers action if they have offers, or a generic coach carousel action if not. This allows them to see job offers in open positions nationwide. The carousel continues over weeks as school hires and poach coaches. New job openings emerge. Coaches can view job offers including preferences, previous coach changes, top candidates, and contract details. Accepting an offer keeps coaches with their current team until after the national championship game, allowing them to coach any bowl games. A countdown in the Dynasty Hub shows weeks until the job changes. New head coaches can manage staff and hire coordinators during the carousel. If coaches are fired or their contracts expire without a new job, they are placed on a new team after the national championship game. Each school has a persona which determines what they are looking for in their next coach. Schools will evaluate candidates across the following criteria: level, scheme, archetype, pipeline, and coach prestige. If you want to pause the video and read what each one is, you can, but we're going to keep it moving.
We're going to pause the video, chat. We're going to pause the video. We are going to pause the video. Move this out the way for y'all. Make it a little smaller for right now. Mini, just so I can read. Level. The higher a coach's level, the more powerful they are and the more abilities they have. Schools are always looking for the highest caliber coach they can find. Scheme. Certain schools like the military academies want a coach who runs a specific style or defense. Style of offense or defense. Archetype. Schools have a preference on the type of coach they are looking to hire, just like the real world, but blue bloods prefer elite coaches who are a program builder or CEO. Oh, okay, so Alabama ain't hiring no punks, no chumps, you know what I'm saying? Pipeline. All coaches have a primary pipeline which provides a boost in recruiting. This is meant to simulate an area of the country where they have strong ties and relationships in recruiting. Schools prefer coaches whose primary pipeline is the same as the one school's returning pipeline. Okay, they want. Coach prestige. A coach prestige is compared against the school's team's prestige. A 5-star program is not going to hire coaches mid and only a C- coach prestige. So if you want to play for Alabama, man, you got to be ready. You got to be putting in work.
So that this video doesn't get way too long. It says here it's also important to keep in mind the domino effect when you're evaluating whether or not to accept an offer. Just because a job isn't open today doesn't mean it won't be available next week. Now let's talk about managing your staff. As a head coach, you will have the opportunity to manage your staff and hire/fire your coordinators. Remember, the coach archetype system does not allow for you to be great at everything, making who you surround yourself with that much more important. Staff management is your opportunity to build your staff the way that you want. We need to be hiring top level coordinators to succeed as a program. During conference championship week, you can fire coordinators, which is your only chance to do so unless they are hired by another school. Coordinators have a standard 2-year contract that auto-renews. If their contract is nearing its end, they might be poached by another school during the carousel, giving you a chance to hire a replacement.
So you
Starting
always
from
got to
bowl
be
week
paying
1, you can
attention
hire
to
new
if your
coordinators.
coaches
You'll see a
have
curated
been
list of
hired by
candidates
another
tailored to your
school or
school's
not. This is
needs.
realistic.
Each candidate's current school, archetype, coach level, and interested
The
schools
realism,
are
chat.
available. You can also review their talent tree to assess their fit with your staff. Offering a position doesn't guarantee acceptance. Each week, you can only offer one
What you say,
coach per
Chad?
position. After advancing the week, you'll know if they accepted. If not, you can offer another coach. If a position remains unfilled after the carousel, you'll automatically receive a coordinator suitable for your program's caliber.
Oh, no, we don't
Build
want no
your
automatic.
program. There is no question that in today's world, roster management and talent acquisition are at the forefront of college football and building your program. Players can now transfer whenever they want, and they have
Shout out to Eric Wayweather, man. The man is reading a lot of information, man. I don't know how you're doing it.
expectations for you and your program. Some are looking to play early, others want to win a championship and play in big games, and stars want to grow their brand beyond the field. Aligning with what your program can do for them has never been more important. EA talked with coaches, players, and even the community to determine what program management should look like for the game. It says, ultimately, we landed on 4 core goals when building your program. Humanize recruits by giving them unique needs and motivations that the player has to discover by interacting with the recruit. Differentiate regions of the country by player caliber, quality, and type to authentically capture high school talent based on historical real-world data. Represent the different resources available to schools, ensuring that the top schools can blanket the country while smaller schools will need to be more targeted with their approach, and make the transfer portal feel authentically unpredictable. Welcome to Staged Recruiting. It says we're introducing a new staged recruiting experience built around 3 distinct phases: discovery, pitch, and close. Just like in the real world, every recruit will be in a different stage of their process. Where they are in their process will dictate how you interact with them and the level of engagement they require. Recruiting begins with discovery, where you gather information about a prospect quickly to assess their alignment with your program. Once a recruit announces their top 5 schools, you move into the pitch phase. Here you sell your program and how well it meets the recruit's
gotta make their
motivations.
top 5.
The final stage is close, where you host the recruit for an official visit to make a lasting impression. A successful visit can lead to significant gains and possibly a verbal commitment. The recruit's final decision comes on National Signing Day. It says here, when we talk about being 134 ways to play, we are talking more than just on-field gameplay. Every school is graded from D- to A+ across 14 different categories, which comprise their My School grades. These grades define who a program is and what their strengths and weaknesses are. Now, here are the 14 different categories, and they're pretty much self-explanatory, even though they come with descriptions. You've got playing time, playing style, championship contender, program tradition, campus lifestyle, stadium atmosphere, pro potential, brand exposure, academic prestige, conference prestige, coach stability, athletic facilities, and proximity to home. Each grade has a unique set of grading criteria. For example, playing time is graded on a per-player basis. The player's overall or projected overall, if they are a recruit, is compared to the team's roster to project how many years it will take for them to become a starter. Actions you do on the recruiting trail will impact...
What did he say? They're going to project how...
lifestyle, stadium atmosphere, pro potential, brand exposure, academic prestige, conference prestige, coach stability, athletic facilities, and proximity to home. Each grade has a unique set of grading criteria. For example, playing time is graded on a per-player basis. The player's overall or projected overall, if they are a recruit, is compared to the team's roster to project how many years it will take for them to become a starter. Actions you do on the recruiting trail will impact the playing time grade for both recruits and players on your current roster. Even if a player is a starter today, signing new players in recruiting may negatively impact their playing time grade and cause them to enter the transfer portal. On the other hand, championship contender uses a combination of your top 25 poll ranking team.
So players can get in their feelings, chat. If they don't like who you're signing, they will leave your ass in that transfer portal.
Prestige, and an assessment of your current roster's quality with Bud Elliott's blue chip ratio. Most grades update dynamically throughout the season, with some only updating at the end of the season. It's important to keep tabs on your grades throughout the season and how you're trending, because a slide in your grades could trigger decommits from verbally committed recruits or sudden transfer portal exodus at the end of the season. You can view all of your grades and detailed information in the My School screen accessible from the Recruiting Hub. This screen helps assess your school's strengths and weaknesses, offering steps to improve each grade. Recruits and where they come from. Each season, over 3,500 recruits are generated nationwide nationwide, and each recruiting class varies in talent and positions. Some years will feature abundant quarterback talent, while others have fewer standout prospects. Additionally, the quality and quantity of recruits vary by region. For example, Southern California is renowned for producing top quarterback talent, while East Texas consistently produces exceptional wide receivers. This approach ensures authenticity and representing high school talent across different regions. What a recruit cares about. Each recruit cares about one of 14 motivations aligned with specific grades. Their star rating influences which motivations matter most. 5-star recruits prioritize advancing to the next level, winning championships, and NIL opportunities, while 2-star recruits focus more on proximity to home, coach stability, and academics. Every recruit has 3 motivations they deeply care about forming their ideal pitch. During discovery, recruiters aim to identify this quickly to gauge program alignment. If a recruit's ideal pitch includes a deal breaker, which is a non-negotiable motivation, failure to meet it means they won't engage with your program. Deal breakers persist throughout a player's time on your roster, reflecting a commitment you must uphold. Failing to meet a deal breaker could prompt a player to consider transferring at the season's end. Recruiting pipeline. It says when we analyze historical recruiting data, it was clear that even in today's day and age, recruiting is still highly regionalized. We discussed various recruiting strategies and tactics with current and former coaches, in particular how they handled recruiting in different areas of the country. First and foremost, it was clear that not every state is created equal when it comes to recruiting talent and pipelines. Having a pipeline in Florida is much more valuable than one in New York. This made clear that the traditional approach of having each state be its own pipeline wouldn't accurately represent the recruiting landscape. One of our goals was to balance pipelines in terms of the quality and quantity of recruits that come from them, as well as how schools tend to look at them. To determine pipeline strength, each school's recruiting classes over the past decade was examined. This data informed a tiered ranking system, assigning schools a pipeline level based on historical recruiting success. Higher pipeline levels increase a school's initial appeal to recruits and the effectiveness of their recruiting pitches. Pipeline levels are permanent, ensuring that schools historically strong in a region maintain a competitive edge. For instance, Florida schools excel in Central Florida, including areas like Lakeland, Tampa, and Orlando, while LSU's influence extends into East Texas and the Gulf Coast.
So you gotta
Together,
know what
pipelines and deal breakers create a much more realistic
man.
and less exploitable recruiting experience. While it's still possible to land 4 stars as a small school, it will require the right fit and heavy investment of resources and time. Moving on to initial interests in top schools. Every recruit begins with an initial list of schools they're interested in. They evaluate each school based on the My Schools grades, ideal pitch, motivations, and the home pipeline proximity. For example, recruits from Atlanta often favor southeastern schools initially, but some may consider schools outside the region if they better fit their needs. Prospects valuing academics tend to consider similar schools. For instance, recruits interested in Rice often also look at Vanderbilt, Northwestern, and Stanford. Recruits may be open to any school or already narrowed down to their top 8 or top 5 based on their motivations and locations.
So we won't be having somebody looking at Georgia, then looking at Memphis, and then looking at Kent State. Like, that kind of what happened in the past. It looked like they're going to be looking at similar schools. Like, bro, if you can go to Georgia, why are you looking at Kent State? You know what I'm saying?
As recruiting progresses, they narrow down their choices from
that's what I got
top
from it. I don't know if that's
to
what
top 5 to top 3, and then they ultimately commit. Your goal is to stay above the cut line each week by adjusting your recruiting strategy based on changing recruit statuses. So let's talk about the 3 stages of recruiting. The first stage of recruiting is discovery, where your goal is to learn information about the prospect as quickly as possible.
First stage, discovery.
Starts with prospect identification. You can find prospects to recruit from the prospect list. The prospect list defaults to the recommended filter, which identifies recruits who would be a good fit for you. You can quickly filter the prospect list by positions or by top prospect, star rating, and state. The advanced search allows you to search for prospects that match a specific set of criteria. You can search for recruits using the following criteria: position, player archetype, state, minimum star rating, height, weight, handedness for quarterbacks only, and interest in your school. When viewing a recruit in the prospect list, you'll be able to see bio information about the recruit as well as key recruiting information like deal breakers and how interested they are in your school. Team needs. When setting up your board, know your roster strengths and weaknesses, how many graduates and returning starters you'll have. The team needs spreadsheet grades each position and details roster breakdowns by school year. It shows required players per position and tracks signings/targets. Scheme will also affect your positional needs. For example, the veer and shoot will need 10 wide receivers, whereas the pro style only needs 6. And this is tied to your playbook choice. Recruiting hours.
So playbook really matters.
Are your core currency for actions and scouting each week, determined by team prestige and season preseason phase. Higher prestige teams have more hours. For instance, a 5-star program might start with 1,000 preseason hours compared to 350 for a 1-star program. Seasonal timing also affects recruiting hours. Preseason and offseason provide more time without Saturday games. In addition to the maximum recruiting hours you can spend in a week, each prospect has a maximum number of hours that you can spend on them in a given week. The default maximum is 50 hours, but this can be increased to a maximum of 70 hours if all three coaches have the always be recruiting ability for that position. The recruiting board. The recruiting board is where you'll focus most of your recruiting efforts. It lists all the recruits on your board with key details, allocated hours, scouting status, scholarship offers, scheduled visits, stage, and interest level. You'll also be able to filter this list. You can filter by prospects who are ready for a visit, prospects you haven't offered a scholarship to, recruiting stage, position, and more. Selecting a recruit lets you interact and view their bio details. A progression bar at the top tracks overall stage advancement. The overview tab summarizes each school's progress with the recruit. When a school bar fills, the recruit progresses to the next stage. Teams below the cut line are locked out from further communication with the recruit. Before you start offering scholarships and dictating recruiting hours to prospects, it's important to make sure you're targeting the right ones for your program. During the preseason, you are only able to scout and offer scholarships, so it is a great time to scout players and ensure you are targeting the right prospects. Prior to scouting a player, you'll only be able to see their star rating, height, weight, hometown, position, and archetype. You'll see question marks on their attributes, abilities, and development trait. The attributes represent the top 10 ratings for their archetype. Each attribute has 4 states of scouting: unscouted, partially scouted, mostly scouted, and fully scouted. When you scout a prospect, you uncover limited information, fully or partially revealing attributes and abilities, but not their development trait. Coaches stress that identifying a player's development trait requires intuition and direct contact, often revealed on National Signing Day or potentially during an official visit with the mind reader ability.
Not a mind reader
pose
ability.
more ambiguity and uncertainty in their skill set due to less exposure compared to higher rated prospects visible in media and high profile events. This uncertainty is captured in the gem/bust system when scouting may reveal a hidden talent. A 4-star gem could perform like a 5-star, while a 4-star bust might play more like a 3-star. Even a 5-star bust will remain a solid player. Now, how do you find your ideal pitch? Once you've identified a prospect who meets your initial criteria, it's time to uncover their motivations. Each prospect has 3 motivations that form their ideal pitch. Quickly discovering their ideal pitch aligns their motivations with your program, crucial for stage 2 pitching. Stage 1 offers 5 recruiting actions to uncover intel and gain influence with the prospect. Each action requires recruiting hours, with higher hours accelerating information discovery and influence. The 5 recruiting actions are as follows. You can offer a scholarship, you can search social media, you can DM the player, you can contact friends and family,
you can search these players on social media
and go all out for them. Now we move on to stage 2, the pitch. After the recruit narrows their top schools down to 5, it's time to begin pitching the prospect on your school and what you have to offer. When pitching a prospect, there are 2 different pitch types you can use. You can soft sell, which awards a moderate amount of influence when choosing the correct pitch, but it also limits the downside risk and penalty of pitching the prospect on something they do not care about. You also have a hard sell, which provides the most influence when choosing the correct pitch, but it also comes with the largest penalty if you pitch the wrong thing. After choosing a pitch type, you select a pitch consisting of 3 motivations from a total of 20 pitches. For instance, the Sunday bound pitch emphasis championship contention, conference prestige, and your school's track record.
You gotta promise them that
to gain a competitive edge and align better with the prospect, you can sway their motivations. Successfully swaying gives them a new ideal pitch exclusive to your school, potentially creating a 3rd combination. The likelihood of success increases with overlap between the original ideal pitch and the one you're proposing. For example, if their ideal pitch includes campus lifestyle, proximity to home, and program tradition, you might sway them towards a pitch like college experience, which includes academic
stop sucking on his mama titty and leave the house, man.
Then we move on to stage 3, the close. The final recruiting step is closing. This involves bringing the prospect for an official visit to make a lasting impression. To schedule a visit, the recruit must be considering your school among their top 5 choices, and you must have offered them a scholarship. The cost to schedule a visit is 40 recruiting hours, separate from your weekly allocation. Visits are crucially timed around the recruit's bye week or home game. You can host up to 4 recruits per week. Timing is strategic. While a big rivalry game can boost your appeal, it also risks losing the recruit to another commitment beforehand. Game day and opponent's strength.
Let's see if they got the road to glory. That's where. Yeah. Sorry, Chad. The video's long. I feel like we heard enough. Oh, they they never really reviewed, did they? Oh no, they did. It say full details.
And all they have to do is get a...
I never watched this
Let's
video.
talk about Dynasty mode and Road to Glory for EA Sports College Football 25. Now, as many of you know, I was down at EA last week and got to play the game. I talked about it in my video yesterday. Now, I was told that there were only certain things that I could talk about. But as of today, this is all the to be referencing will be issues causing issues to Dynasty, which is part of the game in our license, but will be scheduled by the CPU, so you cannot put UMass in the...
So week 0 is also in the game. Kickoff, autos, you know what I'm saying, neutral site games and all that.
Duke's Mayo kickoff game, sadly. So that's pretty good to know. You can do the custom conferences and schedules. You can move trees and archetypes. When building out your coach, you will skip around of leaving roster spots open to the portal to clear up your roster. There are also allotment of recruiting hours across your recruiting board. The hours we saw on the screen were 55, but I don't have it confirmed.
It says there's a good bit more detail in recruiting compared to 14 as you'll assign hours to recruit. In the offseason, your recruiting hours and transfer portal hours will be one and the same. Once again, force you to make decisions on where to focus your efforts. You'll also need to be cognizant of leaving roster spots open for portal guys. The early signing period also makes its debut in the game with the portal opening after early signing day. The recruiting process will happen in stages, as will scouting. Gone is the ability to get a full scout on a guy on 1 week, as you won't be able to get a guy's skill tree until you bring him on an official visit. Okay, see, that's one thing too. You can't spam it, chat. You will have to stay above a cut line through the process, going from a recruit locking in his top 10 to top 8 to top 5, top 3. You'll divide your allotment of recruiting hours across your recruiting board. The hours we saw on the screen were 55, but I don't have it confirmed if your recruiting hours to spend or depend on your staff's skill trees
confirmed if your recruiting hours to spend are dependent on your staff skill trees or not. Players will again have things that are important to them with the 14 pitch grades.
He's reading
it.
My bad.
Impact how interested they are in your school. There will no longer be a way to manipulate recruiting logic to pull guys in that weren't interested by throwing points at them. If they value proximity to home most and you live in California, even if your Georgia Bulldogs are #1 in the nation, they won't be interested. Within that, it'll be much harder to rapidly build a smaller program into a national title contender. No longer will you spend 1 year with a small school and be able to bring in 4 stars and 5 stars like in 14. Those top recruits will not consider your school and have you locked out with deal breakers early on. Instead, you're going to have to truly build up the program over the years, building up those pitch grades to be able to land top tier talent both in the portal and recruiting years down the line. Recruiting visits. Once a player locks in his top 5, you'll be able to bring him on for a visit, and you'll once again be able to design a recruit's visit to show him the things that matter to him or hide things you're not highly regarded in. What game you bring someone to will also matter this year, with the game's outcome, win or lose, impacting how well the visit goes. For example, if you bring a recruit to a game against #2 Ohio State, a win will move you a lot closer to signing him than if you bring him to a UL Monroe game and win. On the flip side, a loss to a highly ranked team won't hurt you as much, but losing to a lesser school will likely tank your chances with that recruit.
Don't get no upset.
Portal. The portal will open after early signing period and will be a part of the offseason process, so it's a shortened process compared to high school recruiting. The portal section is a tab you can toggle to from the recruiting page using L1/R1. Service academies can use the portal unlike in real life, as can Clemson, which Dabo Swinney will surely not like. You will have to manage your offseason recruiting hours for both the portal and the remainder of your high school recruiting. Like in real life, players you were close to landing in high school recruiting will remember that when they enter the portal, and you're likely going to end up as one of their preferred destinations in the transfer portal. You can also encourage your own players to enter the portal to clear up your roster.
Get off my team and enter that portal. I'm going to just advise you right now. You ain't playing next year, boss, so you might as well enter that portal.
Very low, moderate, high, very...
You're not playing next year, boss. Enter that portal. Find you a new school, because I need this roster spot for my 5-star. My 4-star. You got to go, dog. It's just that simple.
High chances of success in stopping a guy from leaving your school. Players will enter the portal based on a number of factors, most notably how you are holding up your end of the bargain with their deal breakers. For example, if you land a recruit based off of playing time and he doesn't play as a freshman, he's at risk to enter the portal. Throughout the year, it will let you know who is at risk for the portal, and it will be up to you whether you want to make adjustments to try to keep guys or continue the same plan and let a guy hit the portal. NIL. There is not NIL in Dynasty mode, and they have a pretty good reason for that. When developing the game, NIL was done by collectives and wasn't legally something coaches and schools controlled. Beyond that, given how quickly things changed with NIL, they didn't want to put something in the game that was outdated as quickly as it was built. That point got enforced when the NCAA settlement to allow schools to pay players came down a few hours after our presentation. So in the future, NIL will likely make its way in once that's something schools do, but for the first year, it will not, and the reasoning is solid. Also, I was told not to expect there to ever be a way to commit financial crimes or do grimy stuff in the game, as it's rated E game, and they're not changing that. Now, that was confusing because I was under the impression that NIL was a part of the game in some way. Maybe I misunderstood things. Maybe this is more of a future thing because NIL is something that is very fluid right now. No one really knows how it's all going to work out. Rules are constantly changing. We don't know what regulations are going to eventually be put in place, so probably best not to touch it just yet. Player editing. One thing that was made clear is that you will be very limited with what you can do in terms of editing players compared to the old NCAA football franchise, but for good reason, because the players in this year's game are actually the guys that are on rosters. You won't be able to make considerable edits to them beyond team builder mode. It's a small price to pay to have the game back with actual players in it. And here's the last big one here. No exporting draft classes. It says, I forgot to add this initially, but you will not be able to export draft classes to Madden. That is because the...
Oh, okay, so it's no need of me buying Madden. If I can't put my player into Madden, what's the point of buying Madden? So, yeah, like, what's the point?
Players in the game are actual college football players, and the licensing deals for EA College Football and Madden are totally separate. The Madden deal is through the NFLPA, and active players in college football won't have signed there. This is one of the small prices to pay to have the game back with real players, and no, once you get 6 years deep into a dynasty, that doesn't change that, yet at least. So this is something that's a bummer, but it is just simply a legal thing with there being real licensed players now. I don't think it's going to make... No longer will you start in high school, instead picking your level as a recruit at the beginning to determine how hard your grind will be getting playing time. 5-star starts at about a 79 overall, 4-star at a 75.
Oh, so we're picking what star we want to be. So you could be a 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, 2-star, 1-star. Oh, it looked like the lowest you can be is a 2-star. So that's different right there. We picking what star we want to be in, and I guess signing on.
Overall, 3-star at a 70 overall, and 2-star at a 65 overall. If you choose to be a 2-star, you will have to really spend a lot of time in practice before you get onto the field. If you're a 5-star, you'll still have to win a position battle, more on that in a little bit, to get a starting spot. From there, you will pick things that are most important to you among the 14 pitch grades each school has, and you will get offers based on your star level and what...
So you're getting recruited. You're not playing high school, but you're picking what star you are, and then you're going to get recruited.
Schools align with what you deem most important. Once you're in school, you will not have a dorm room like the old games, but instead most of the mode will be done out of the main menu screen with different scenarios popping up on your phone throughout. You will manage your time each week and have to decide how to balance your schedule between 5 areas of focus: academics, leadership, health, training, and brand. How you choose to manage your time will determine everything from your eligibility to play. Yes, you can go academically ineligible, to whether you get the challenge for a starting job.
Oh man. So if my player is not smart, he could be ineligible. And my player not going to class, he could be ineligible, Chad. That's gonna be a problem, Chad.
Going too far in any direction means neglecting another, which has consequences. On the other hand, it's not simply a matter of
take your ass to class. Stay in school.
Balancing everything out, because that too will mean leaving things on the table. The primary goal of the mode is to make you make decisions that are not clearly black and white. As they explained, the goal was to create ethical gray areas with the various dynamic scenarios that will present themselves throughout the game. Even things that seem like a good choice may have negative consequences and vice versa. By doing so, they hope to make the story element really matter rather than the cutscenes you are just clicking through to get to the game. Academics. When they announced you had to maintain a GPA, many people laughed at the idea that you'd be taking tests. That is happily not the case. Instead, you simply have to allocate some hours to studying because there will be tests on your schedule, and if you are not prepared as indicated by the progress bar, you could fail and become academically ineligible. If that happens, you'll have to spend extra time with tutors, which will further set you back.
Oh man, they want you gotta get tutors and all that, bruh. Stay your ass in school. Chat. Tell your players stay their ass in school, man.
Elsewhere, all the elements come with potential boosts to your skill.
If you're a dummy, you getting cut.
Trees and academics figure to boost your mental abilities on the field. Leadership and position battles. Leadership is where you bank coaching trust points with how you get on the field. Allocating time here means getting in the film room and doing the necessary football work that's not on.
Put in that work, man. Go to film study. If you're not watching film, how you gonna get on the field? Like, let's be real. If you don't know what the defense is, if you don't know what the offense is running, come on, bro.
On-field drills to show your coach and teammates that you're committed. When you get enough coach trust and catch a teammate ahead of you on the depth chart, you'll trigger a position battle. The position battles bring back the glorious return of mini games, and you will have to win a best 2 out of 3 against your teammate in the mini game in order to earn a spot. A key element of this, your computer teammates are also always earning coaching trust, and if you start to struggle as a starter, they might catch you and force you into a position battle. This means winning the starting job is only the beginning, as you have to perform to keep it. Health. This is where the wear and tear system comes into play. Throughout the season, you will accrue wear and tear on different body parts by taking hits, and when you get too much in one spot, you'll start to. This is the NIL portion of Road to Glory, where you can sign brand deals and get fans to boost your following. Now, this might seem like the least important thing and the easy section to put off. However, each brand deal will come with in-game boosts that will help you out, and boosting your following could be important for the portal. So NIL is in the game for Road to Glory.
So basically, it's something like 2K where you get Gatorade boosts and stuff for the game. That's cool. I appreciate that. So if I sign with Adidas, they give me a boost for wearing their cleats. I'm cool with that.
Glory, I guess, more so than it will be in Dynasty. Not in some of the ways NBA thought it would be, but it's definitely going to be there in terms of signing brand deals and things like that. Dynamic scenarios. Throughout the game, you'll be presented with various options, and you'll have to pick what to do with consequences that could be both positive and negative at the same time. For example, you might be asked to do something with teammates instead of study, and that might earn some coaching trust in the leadership category, but if it means you are underprepared for an upcoming test, your GPA might drop and you could be in danger of becoming academically ineligible. These will pop up throughout your career, and the goal is to force you into some choices that aren't obvious with how you're balancing the 5 main areas.
Okay, so this is being brought back. Like, this is old NCAA nature right here, where you had to go to class, you had to spend time with your teammates. You know what I'm saying? You had to kind of live a college life.
Always needing to be on top of your mind. Game day. All the things you do during the week will impact you on the field on game day as well. Your mental and physical abilities will determine some in-game boosts, as will the aforementioned brand deals. Your coaching trust will determine play calling options, and for QBs, whether you can hot route or audible. Your health will also impact play calling. A banged up QB won't get the options called, and if you have piled up wear and tear and not done what's needed to get it down during the week, you'll be at risk of injury and have diminished stats.
Oh man,
redshirting. Like in real life, you can redshirt a year if you play 4 or fewer games. The game will automatically do that for you, meaning if you simply can't win the position battle to get on the field or get hurt year 1, you'll get that 5th year. You cannot demand a redshirt and refuse to play, but you can tank practices and games to try to drop out of position battle to do so if you really wanted. Transfer portal. The transfer portal will be available to you every offseason like in real life, and will work like recruiting did in the beginning when you picked your first team. You'll get offers from teams.
Oh, so I can go to the transfer portal as, oh yeah, I'm playing for about 4 different schools, cuz.
That fit your preferences. I really enjoyed the one example they showed that was a guy that really cares about academics, so his top school was Vandy. The coaching carousel will also be happening in the offseason, so your coach might leave, which impacts coach trust with a new guy coming in, and you might choose to follow your old coach to his new school. Exporting to Madden. Something that will be exciting for fans that get both college football and Madden is that you will be able to export your Road to Glory.
Wait, did he not just say that in the beginning of the video that you can't export to Madden? Am I tripping?
Player to superstar mode in Madden. That means you have the opportunity to go from recruit to NFL legend across 2 games and could spend 20 years with your Road to Glory player instead of just 4.
Oh man,
so
unlike I guess I am getting
Dynasty, there's no restrictions here because this is your own created player, so you will be able to bring him to Madden.
I'm so confused.
Like I said, I do think there's going to be a lot of replayability to this.
I could have swore he said that it was no exporting in the beginning of the video, but whatever. That man Lemon just dropped something. Let's go see what let's go see what Lemon just dropped, chat. As I get ready to end my stream. Let's go see what Lemon SLI. He told me it's Lemon Seal, but it's clearly chat. What does that say, chat? Chat, what that say right there? Lemon SLI. Shout out to that boy. He got 108 subscribers. Let's see what he just posted.
President tweeted, North Korea is the butthole of Asia and innocent child!
Oh! Chad, what he doing, Chad? Let's watch it again.
They had some of those new plays.
Hold on, Chad.
They're making an emphasis on playbooks, and this is another thing they've done in the past. Like, oh, we're going to update playbooks.
You got to watch it again, Chad. Man, Chad. Let's look at another one, Chad. Shout out to Lemon SLI, man. don't know. The music just stopped. Shout out to Lemon SLI, man. Let's see. That one guy said he played college football, so. Let's see what that one guy, he said, I got the first. Okay, let's see.
Donovan Edwards in College Football 25.
Oh, this is the
I've
guy
been
that was
given
in that one
permission to
video.
React to the raw gameplay. Plus, EA just premiered their cut-up version on their channel, so I have loads of footage of College Football 25 to show you all, and some behind-the-scenes clips of what it was like there too, because let me tell you, this entire thing was awesome. I'm just so thankful for all of you for putting me in this position, and also this is it, like I said, and yes, it was. I got an interception right back. Now it's time to see how everybody else reacted to
the pitch button. The animation might take a little bit longer, but it's
Was that a covered shell?
We seen some of this already, Chad, in the beginning of the chat.
Okay.
And that is a major change. Adding in these covered shells, taking that the
Oh, this is kind of like the same video, just in his point of view,
a little
Chad.
bit, hopefully can come out on top there. There you have it. I honestly went into this game feeling pretty confident with the home field advantage on my side.
That's Penn State.
The attention to detail from our presentation.
College Football 25 comes out in a couple weeks, and one missing feature is High School and Road to Glory, so I found a Texas high school football mod, and I'm going to start my College Football 25 Road to Glory now. I'll be narrowing down my college decision
it's not that
throughout the year,
serious,
and
Chad. It's not that serious. Let's just enjoy that we even had the game back. All right, Chad. I'm gone, Chad. I appreciate y'all for watching. Just trying to stay consistent with the streams, man.